Hi everyone, this is Jared, AC7WH, Backyard Ham Radio, and today I would like to demonstrate what happens with and without some RF chokes from Palomar Engineers. Now this is without any RF chokes, except I do have the un out there around the feed point of my helical vertical antenna with the two elevated counterpoise wires. You can't really see the one over to the left, but it's similar to the one on the right there. And that's a quarter wave at 40 meters. That's how long each raised radial counterpoise wire is. And then it's a quarter wave for 80 meters that is in a helix around this PVC pipe that's about 10 feet tall and about 4.5 inches in diameter. Okay, of course I have my tuner here to help me tune up. I've tuned up now on 7.295 megahertz. And I just have my amplifier on standby, but I wanted to run this the way that I normally do. Down here is my watt cycle battery, and here are some of my RF chokes. I've got some more in the box in here. The only ones that I also have on besides that the current choke that's out there at the feed point, is I have two of these snap-on beads or ferrites. One for the power cable running from the battery to the Yaesu transceiver, and one for the data cable that drives the amplifier over there. But none on the coax itself, none on the power cords or anything like that. So let's see what kind of results we're getting right now on 7.295. You can hear a lot of static. And as you can see, the S meter on the radio, with this on the IPO setting, which means no extra preamp, it's spiking up to about an S7, just like that, with no preamp. So pretty strong noise right now. All right, let's see if this makes any difference, or if it's primarily out in the atmosphere or something else. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and when I come back, I will go ahead and see what this does with more noise or less noise. We shall see. Oh, but before I do, speaking of more noise, I would like to turn on the LED lights in this room. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's see if that's any worse. Maybe just a bit. Not noticing a significant difference, so that's kind of nice in a way. Still lots of static. Okay, I'll be back with you with the RF chokes on. All right, I now have a total of 10 of those RF snap-on chokes connected. And if you look here on how this is working, I would say it's about 2 S units less. Well, maybe 1, because it still is peaking up to about the 7. So I think a lot of this is out in the atmosphere. This is what it sounds like. Same frequency, I've got the lights on and so forth, but let me show you where I have these just to kind of give you an idea. So again, those are the original ones that were on previously here. That's for the data cable for driving the linear, as well as for the power cable from the battery. But now I've got 2 of them with these connection cables between the amplifier and the tuner. So 1 and 2. And then I've got 1, 2, 3 right here on the coax. Four, 5, 6, 7. Still on that same coax. That's the coax that goes outside to the antenna. Plus, I've got multiples here on the connection cables. Maybe it's overdone, maybe it's not, but I wanted to make sure everything's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. And I especially emphasize this last cable because that's what goes into the transceiver. The rest are interconnecting between the devices, the basic components and so forth. Various components, rather. All right, well, is there a mind-blowing difference? Maybe not. But let me try turning these lights off and see if that makes any difference. I'm using some incandescent lighting for this right now, by the way. Not a huge difference with the lights on or off. Conditions also could have changed a little bit since I last tried this. But I would say a lot of that is what would be called atmospherics. I'm not getting a lot of interfering noise. But in any case, it was cool to try. And I would be curious if there was some more man-made sounding noise, more of like a buzzing or repetitive sound, what that would do. But it was cool to check this out. All right, well, thanks everyone for taking a look at how I am using these RF chokes. And if anybody has any stories, suggestions, or ideas, just let me know. Thank you so much. This is AC7WH Backyard Ham Radio 73.